again, the Mechaber was talking about the two things that keep a person from self-actualizing through challenges. What are the two things that keep me from ultimately utilizing my challenges as catalysts for growth? So remember again, number one is when a person says, "Ini yachol la'amod bazeh." I can't do it. I can't do it. The moment you say I can't do it, essentially effectively says I won't do it. So a person says, I can't handle this test, I can't handle this challenge, I can't handle this adversity. So by definition, a person who takes that approach will not grow. Number two, says the Mechaber, is where a person says, Teimli lichios b'sheket, where a person thinks that life is about tranquility, that life is about peace, that life is about taking it easy. So the Mechaber says a person has that mindset and mentality, then at the end of the day, it's difficult to grow from one's challenges because one is resentful of the challenges. One is resentful, ultimately, again, of the adversity. One is resentful of the difficulties. If there's a resentment of the difficulties of the adversity, then it's impossible to grow as a result. So now he says, so in order to overcome this second challenge, I both say the second challenge is the more difficult one, because sometimes to adversity is I can't handle this, I can't do it. And then what happens? I take a deep breath and I realize that what? I have no choice. I mean, what's the only other option is I close my eyes and don't open them back up. But that's not an option. So being that sometimes the person might feel overwhelmed that they want that chas v'shalom. But at the end of the day, I recognize that I have to figure this out. And I will figure it out. The greater challenge is the second one. The greater challenge is because often we think that our lives, it's all about being comfortable. I don't mean financially. I mean, it's all about being comfortable just in life. That it's all about my tranquility. That my goal is that things should be easy. And if a person comes to life with that mindset, then the challenges are overwhelming. The challenges are unsettling, and a person can't grow from them. So how do I overcome this? I would say it's important for a person to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to have whatever circumstances I have. And the Ratzon Hashem is that in Miras Hashem, I find the ability to overcome this challenge. I find the ability to stand strong in this Nisayon. V'shiyeda shenisayon hazeh mechuvan milamala k'fima sh'Hashem yodea mahu hatikun v'siyuma yashlichus shalo ba'olam hazeh. And I will say it's important for a person to know that this nisayon is custom tailored for me from above. I will say sometimes when negative things occur or adversity occurs, it feels like the absence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Mechaber says, it's just the opposite. Just the opposite. It's important for me to understand that the circumstances of my life are choreographed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And these circumstances is what I need. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that I need in order to be metaking that which is broken, and in order to actualize what my shlichus is in this world. V'shiyeda sherakim ya'amo b'nisayon zeh yuchal ha'hagia al ha'sheket ha'nafshi. This was a very profound statement. And it's important for me to know that it is only if I'm able to withstand this particular nisayon, it is only then that I could come. These words are so beautiful. The sheket hanafshi, the inner tranquility, and the true peace. Here's the chab. Inner tranquility and true peace do not mean the absence of adversity. It's a very important yesod. What he calls this shava ha'amitis, this soulful quietness and this true inner tranquility. I will say this comes when a person realizes that he's doing what he needs to be doing in life. This comes when a person knows that he's actualizing his shlichus and that he's doing what the Ribono Shel Olam needs him to do in this world. Vim yenaseh, what says in how profound this is. Vim yenaseh lehishtamet u'lehizchamek min hanisayon. Hurak yapoch lihiyos yoser v'yoser kasha. I will say, if I try just to simply go ahead and run away and try to somehow absent myself from the challenges in life, which is things only become more difficult. The challenges only become much more ensnaring. Very important. So we'll say, it's like what you're already saying. is if you try to run from the challenges in life, first of all, they don't go away, right? They only run after you. And the more they run after you and the more you try to want to run away, the more difficult and overwhelming the entire process becomes. It's an incredible yesod. You have to deal with your nisyonos. If you don't deal with your nisyonos, then at the end of the day, they won't go away. They only become more overwhelming, and the inner turmoil only becomes more acute. He goes on, he says, we're back to the Gilgulim now. So it says the Mechaber something amazing. He says, understand, I will say, when you begin to understand this construct, it all begins to come together. The nisyonos I have are there for my own self-actualization. They are a display ultimately again of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's love. The Moshe knows I need this in order to become the best me I can. So it's at the end of the day, if I run from the challenges, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to let go. He's just going to send them after me. So I'm going to be stuck in this cycle now. HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs me to have these challenges because they're necessary for my self-actualization. I'm running away from them because again, I'm looking just for tranquility, for peace, for happiness, for lack of adversity. And the Ribono Shel Olam and I are stuck in this struggle. Well, here's a little secret. It's not good to get stuck in a struggle with God because there's only one victor from that process all of the time. And that's the Ribono Shel Olam. Therefore, again, the Yisod in life, says the Mechaber, is embrace the struggle. Embrace the struggle. It's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's for my benefit. It's for my self-actualization. It's how I find my shlichus. So don't run from it. Own it. Embrace it. Become actualized through it. Chalo shel davar. Yesh dvarim b'chaim shem yirtza adam olo yirtza hu chayiv la'avar. So it's a very profound statement. Here's the truth, says the Mechaber. There are some things in this world, whether you want to or not, you have to deal with them. Some things, whether you want to or not, you're going to have to undergo the struggle. So I'm saying sometimes this desire we have to live quietly in peace and tranquility, it's a dimyon, it's a dream, it's an illusion. Life is not about tranquility, as the Mishnah of us says. Everything that happens to us in life is against our will. We're born against our will, the Mishnah says. We die against our will. We live against our will. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say every stage, and again, this is like a little bit of an overwhelming Mishnah, but every stage of our existence, I will say, is against our will, which means we're not in control. My control is the control I have is how I decide to react to the various circumstances that life throws my way, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu throws my way. He says, we'll say at the end of the day, after 120, the metric of a successful life is one simple thing. Did I try to be matakein my nefesh? I came to this world with faults. I came to this world with weaknesses, especially if you go with the Mechaber's Gilgul model. I came to this world with things that I have to fix. Did I try to fix them? Did I try to fix them? That's the ultimate metric of a successful life. And I will say the mechanism through which I fix those things that are broken, those are the nisyonos. That's the adversity. He says, did I contemplate my life circumstances and utilize them as a catalyst for growth? It's an interesting that person can't decide. Let's say in life, you can't decide to sit on the sidelines. You can't decide that you're not playing. You're not on a team. That you're not playing the game. Imhupo. If I'm here in this world, it means that there is something I have to fix. You could run and you could run and you could run. But at the end of the day, those things that I am supposed to fix, that is my divine duty in this world. I have one choice. So the only choice I have is the following. I'm here to be attacking something. I'm here to fix something. The way ultimately, again, I figure out what I need to fix, how to fix it, and what my shlichus is through the challenges, the difficulties, the adversity in life. My choice is, do I embrace it? Do I embrace it? Own it, self-actualize through it, or do I spend my life running from it? In Yamo Ta'adam V'Yamo B'Nisyon Sheyesh Lo Be'emunah Yizke La'aliyah Gidol Madrigos Kavos Yosem Mikol Mitzvah O Me'avodas Hashem Acher Sheyaseh. We'll say if a person chooses ultimately again to meet his nisyonos, to own his challenges, to recognize that his challenges tell me how I need to grow, what I need to do. There's the midah kineged midah, how I self-actualize. Then Yizke La'aliyah Gidol Madrigos Kavos Yosem Mikol Mitzvah O Me'avodas Hashem Acher Sheyaseh. Gam Tia Lo Hana'a V'Mis'asa B'Tikun Nafsho Yisurav Rak Yigberu. So like you just said before, my choice in life is, do I own my circumstances, own my challenges, and therefore grow through them, or do I spend my life running from them? We'll say for a person, we should strengthen ourselves, allow ourselves to stand in our nisyonos and meet success. We'll say in coming chapters we will discuss. So in this chapter now we conclude the three different levels of emunah, what it means ultimately again to be about emunah, leaving off ultimately again with this yesod, that true emunah means finding the growth in the difficult or challenging circumstances, recognizing I have a shlichus and it's my job in this world to accomplish something, how to take all of these constructs that we've established and figuring out how to plug them into day-to-day life. That Emir Hashem will begin on Monday with Perek Shlishi.
Amen.
All right, so we'll say good morning. A lot to do today. Today's daf is Yud Beis 12. We are picking up from Yud Aleph Amud Beis 11b, and we're picking up at Tana Rabbanon. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 lines up from the bottom. So our shir is dedicated by the Grossman family memory of Ira's mother, Freda Bas Shmuel, as well as in the schus of Leah for the neshama of Eliezer ben Kolomos. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, Shamos will have an aliyah in the families in a chabal. So let's begin. Tana Rabbanon. You can only go ahead and make a leap year by day. Beis Din can only operate by day. Ve'im ibrua balayla, and if Beis Din made an ibria, Beis Din went ahead and made a day. The designation or the proclamation is in effect. So the Gemara says the following: Ve'im mekachnes hachodesh elabayo. Ve'im kiuchua balayla. I'm sorry. Ve'im mekachnes hachodesh elabayo. Similarly, again, both say Beis Din can only be mekadesh the new month by day. And if they did it at night, it doesn't work. So the most common theme is that anything Beis Din has to make a declaration, be it for a leap year or a new month. The halacha is it must be done by day. I'm Rabbi Abba Makro. So Rabbi says, no, where's the pasuk that we know this from? So we'll say this is amazing. You know this. Well, pasuk says, "Tiku b'chodesh shofar b'kes liyom chagim." So literally again, "Tiku b'chodesh shofar," blow the shofar on the chodesh, b'kes liyom chagenu. Literally translated, the way it reads is Bakesa means it is hidden on the day of our holiday. So what does this mean? Ezu Chag Kodesh Miskasebo. Both say, what's the only Yom Tiv where the moon is hidden? Only Yom Tiv where the moon is hidden. Have Omer Zer Rosh Hashanah. So we know again, every single other Yom Tiv comes, the regalim all come in the not necessarily the middle of the month, but they're certainly not the first of the month. Meaning Shavuos is the earliest of Vav Sivan. But at the end of the day, the other Yom Tovim are not all of them. The moon is present. Where the moon is not visible, it's Rosh Hashanah. Uksiv Ki chok li Yisrael hu mishpat le'elokei Yaakov. And the pasuk says that the following pasuk says, "Ki chok li Yisrael hu mishpat le'elokei Yaakov." The statute for Israel is the mishpat, is the law for the God of Yaakov. Ma mishpat bayom. Suppose that we note the juxtaposition of the psukim. Ma mishpat bayom, just like mishpat, just like the adjudication of a case can only be done by day. Av kiddush hachodesh bayom. So too again, the sanctification of the new month can only be done by day. As Rabbi said, this is where we learn. Mamish drasha. We saw this drasha before Maseches Rosh Hashanah, but this is the drasha ultimately again that Beis Din could only adjudicate cases by day. Tanarabanan, ima avrines hashana b'shnei re'avam. So we'll see another interesting halakha. Beis Din cannot declare a leap year during a time of famine. And I will say now, what's the chap if they create a leap year during a time of famine? Remember, as we already established yesterday, so leap year is Adar, and we'll get into that more today, which means you push off Pesach. If you push off Pesach, you extend the Isser of Chadash. The Isser of Chadash is that you can't eat any new grain, meaning new grain means grain that's been planted since last Pesach until the bringing of the Omer. So the problem, says the Gemara, is if you go and you make a leap year during a famine, then by definition you are extending the Isser of Chadash, limiting the food supply for an additional month. Rabbi says, V'ishba mibal shalisha. So we'll say over here, the Gemara brings a raya to this from Melachim Beis. So a man came from Baal Shalisha, vayave leisha elokim lechem bikurim esrim lechem soim, and he brought to the isha elokim, he brought it to the man of God, literally lechem bikurim, bread from the first crop, esrim lechem soim, 20 loaves of barley bread. So apparently Baal Shalisha, the crops there matured fastest. And I will say, despite all of this, you see that there was only one type of grain that ultimately was ready to be harvested and used. Shema Tomar Chitim. So maybe you'll say it refers to actual grain, wheat. Talmud Sa'orim. Therefore, the pasuk says no, that it was dafka barley wheat. Shema Tomar Lifnei HaOmer. So maybe you'll say, this is because he was bringing this gift to the Navi before the Omer. To which the Gemara says, Talmud Lomar Tein La'am Vayochelu. So the Gemara said, therefore, again, the Navi says to the individual, there was a famine. Give this gift, take these 20 loaves, and dispense it to the people. Achara Omer Haya. You see that this situation or this event occurred after the Omer. Emar Me'ata. Ru'uya Haisa Osa Shana Shetisaber. So you see from Rabbi say the fact that the crops were not yet mature indicates to us that what? That Lamaisa, this should have been a leap year. If you look at Rashi says Ru'uya Haisa Osa Shalis Aber, it's the third of the short lines. Al ha'aviv shekishegir Nisan adayin lo haya rov aviv the hala'achar shisha asar ben Nisan lo bichru elasor. Context of this episode of the Navi, that although it was already after, around Pesach time, the other crops had not yet matured. So therefore, again, they should have declared a leap year. Why didn't they? Ibra Elisha. So we'll say the Navi over here is Elisha Navi. Why did Elisha not declare a leap year? Sheshnas Betsuras Haisa. Because ultimately, again, it was a famine year. And everybody was running to the threshing floor to be able to get whatever they could get. Therefore, Abosai, going ahead and here would have created an additional hardship upon the general populace, and therefore, Allah Lamaisa, we do not do that. Incredible. Tan Rabbanim, Ema Avrinas Hashana Lifnei Rosh Hashanah. What's another interesting halacha? We do not declare a leap year before Rosh Hashanah. I will say, look at Rashi over here for just a moment. Rashi says, Ema Avrin, in Yoshin Beis in Kodim Rosh Hashanah, La'ayin Velomar Tisaber Shanazu B'Shnei Adarim. So we'll say, so the halacha is, let's say for argument's sake, they know already. Whatever. Well, we'll discuss what the Metzias is, why Beis Din would want to do this. But let's say Beis Din already knows they have to make a leap year. You can't go ahead, says the Gemara, and declare the leap year before Rosh Hashanah. Right now, again, meaning you can't say before Rosh Hashanah there's going to be 2 others this year. Now, interesting enough, Rashi says the reason for that is, he says, what's going to happen? The Gemara seems to be concerned that people are going to forget about the declaration. And I will say, remember, where the leap year has the greatest ramification is for Pesach. Why? Because Pesach is effectively pushed off a month. And if you forget about the leap year, you'll observe Pesach early. You won't observe the real designated Pesach. And then it turns out that what? That you're eating chametz on Pesach, which is an Isser Karis. So therefore, the Gemara says, in order to avoid any potential forgetfulness, what we say is you can't go ahead and be ma'abed Shana before Rosh Hashanah. And if Beis Din didn't, let's say Beis Din went ahead and declared that it's going to be a leap year before Rosh Hashanah. I mean, they made the declaration before Rosh Hashanah that it's going to be a second Adar. We'll say it doesn't work. The declaration is meaningless. Aval mipnei hadchak ma'avirin osa. We'll say if there are extenuating circumstances, then Beis Din is permitted to go ahead and declare the new month. Beis Din is permitted to go ahead and declare that it's going to be a leap year immediately after Rosh Hashanah. Take a look at Rashi for just a moment. What does it mean if there are extenuating circumstances? Shema lo yehi sham Beis Din mufla samach la'adar, o shema yavo hamelech adomi v'ya'akiv al yadan. We'll say, listen to this. Talking about times of persecution. Maybe they're concerned they won't be able to convene a Beis Din. That's one possibility. Or maybe the Edomite king. The Edomite king, right? Edom, we'll say whichever branch of Edom this is, whether it's Yavan, whether it's Romi, whether it's Greece, whether it's Rome, we know that there was persecution, there was specific targeting of the calendar. We'll say if they're concerned that as a result of persecution, they will not be able to go ahead and declare the leap year in the right time, then what can they do? They could declare it right after Rosh Hashanah. Now, still not before, but right after Rosh Hashanah. V'afa pi came in ma'avrin ela adar. They both say the Gemara just wants to clarify this again. No, even though we allow extenuating circumstances to make the declaration of the leap year earlier, at the end of the day, the leap month is still going to be under extenuating circumstances. We can make the declaration earlier, but Lamais again, it's always going to be a second Adar. Ini, is that true? So the Gemara says, "Vaha shalchu leRava." Listen to this. So they said to Rava the following. Rava said, "This is amazing. They're sending coded messages to each other in order to avoid detection by the Gentile government." So Zug ba mirakes v'tafsu nasher. There was a zug is a pair. There was a pair that came from Rekes. I will say Rekes, by the way, if you remember, we had this in Megillah. Rashi tells us over here, but Rekes is Tiberia. Rekes is Tiberia. So there was a group who came from Tiberia, the Tafsu Nesher, but they were seized by the Nesher, not the taxi from the airport to Yerushalayim. I will say, so again, Tafsu Nesher, Chel Parsim, Persian soldiers. So they were seized by Persian soldiers. Upiyadam dvarim hanase beluz, and they were holding things made in luz. The Gemara tells us in parentheses, what were they transporting? Umaynihu tchilas. So we'll say this pair was on a mission to bring tchilas from one place to another. They were seized by the Persians. Bischus arachamim ubischusam yatsu b'shalom. In the merit of rachamim, right? In the merit of divine compassion, in their own merit, thank God, these two were able to go ahead and they were extricated and they were able to leave captivity in peace. Va'amuse yereche nachshon likvoa nitziv echad. And the officers of the offspring of Nachshon wanted to establish one, literally nitziv echad means one officer. V'lo henichan adomi halaz. But the Edomite did not allow them to do so. So we'll say, so look at Rashi for just a moment. Rashi says, Amuse Yerechi Nachshon, who are the officers that are the descendants of Nachshon? Nasi Shevaretz, Shumizar Nachshon ben Aminadav, Rishon Lenesim. So this offspring of Nachshon ben Aminadav is a veiled reference to the Nasi of Eretz Yisrael. Bikshu, I'm just reading Rashi again. Bikshu Likbon Nitziv Echad, Bikshu Lahosif Chodesh Echad Al Hashar La'abra. They wanted, meaning adding on one officer means they wanted to make a leap year, but they were unable to do so. The Edomi did not allow them to do so. The Edomi, Rashi points out, is the Malchus Harisha, Hagazra Gzera Alei, and so the Edomi prevented them from doing that. Aval Bali Asufos, back to the Gemara, Nesfu v'kavalo nitziv echad bi'areach shemes bo aro. But the Bali Asufos, those who gather the groups, which is the other Batei Din, got together and established the Nitziv Echad, the one officer, which sounds like the leap year, in the month that Aaron HaKohen died. So look at Rashi for just a moment. When did Aaron HaKohen die? Aaron's Yortzeit was just this past week. So we'll say, so first of all, this is just fascinating in and of itself, because it shows you just how, again, the Rabbanim were managing in the midst of incredible persecution. So it's fascinating in and of itself. But for our purposes, I will say the reason why this is problematic is because according to this message, we see that they made a leap year even in a non-Adar month. Meaning we just got finished saying that you could go ahead and declare the new month early, right after Rosh Hashanah, but you could declare a leap year early right after Rosh Hashanah, but understand, if you're going to make a leap year, the leap year is always Adar Beis. It's always Adar Beis. So the Gemara says, or I should say Adar Aleph, right? It's always another Adar. But Lamaisi, here you see that they're declaring a leap year, and what are they doing? They're making Av the leap month. So what's going on over here? To which the Gemara says, Chashuvi mechashvi galuye lo miglu. So we'll say what you see from here is at the end of the day, I'm sorry, first of all, I said that wrong. They were not making Av the leap month. They were going ahead and engaging in the process of deciding to make a leap year in the month of Av. So meaning they were planning in Av for the next Adar. We just got finished saying that Lamaisa, the earliest they could do that is right after Rosh Hashanah. Now here they're going on and they're planning the leap year in the month of Av, to which the Gemara says, no, it's not a contradiction. Chashuvi mechashvi galuye lo miglu. The Bible said all they were doing was they were contemplating it, they were discussing it, but they did not reveal this decision to the populace until later on. Look at Rashi, Giluye lo miglu ad la'achar Rosh Hashanah. So we'll say it was in the month of Av that they were discussing this. It was in the month of Av that ultimately, again, they came to a decision they were going to do this, but ultimately they did not reveal this decision until after Rosh Hashanah. So the Gemara says, "My masha the Hainetziv of the Yahu." So we'll say it's part of this embedded message. They used the word nitziv, which means officer. They used it to be a reference to a month. So the Gemara says, how do you know that nitziv is a lishon of the Yarcha? How do you know that nitziv ultimately again means a month? He says, "D'chsiv u'l'shlomo shnei masar nitzivim." Shlomo Melech had 12 officers. I'll call Yisrael. Those who were in charge of Klal Yisrael. V'kilkulu es hamelech v'es hanashav chodesh b'shana. Now, we'll say each of those officers were responsible for supporting the king's household for 1 month out of the year. I guess they were all essentially like tax collectors, and it was their job to provide 12 men. Their job to each of them to provide the necessary funds to be able to support the king's household. So the Gemara says, "V'kilkul es hamelech v'es hanashav chodesh b'shana. I've haksiv u'nitziv echad asher ba'aretz." But yet the pasuk says that there was one nitziv, there was one officer over the land. So one said, yes, there were 12 officers, but one officer was in charge of all of them. The Chad Amar Keneged Chodesh Ha'ibor. Was the other say that additional officer mentioned in the pasuk was an additional officer in the event that there was a leap year. Because if there was a leap year, 12 officers would not suffice. You would need 13 officers in order to be able to provide for the needs of the king's home. Fine, so let's listen to this. You can't go ahead and declare a leap year from 1 year to the next. 1 year to the next. It's actually almost right across. So I'll say ultimately again, if you know that the next year, if next year ultimately again needs to be a leap year, so we will not go ahead and adjust this year in order to avoid having to make a leap year next year. In other words, like what the Gemara is saying over here is when it comes to leap years, we don't look at years in a continuum, we look at each year by itself. See, even though I know that I can take proactive measures for next year by making this year a leap year, we don't do that. Furthermore, you cannot make 3 years of consecutive leap years. Rashi says over we'll say if at the end of the day you keep on making, if you make 3 consecutive leap years, ultimately it's a little bit of exaggeration, but you'll end up with Pesach in the middle of the summer. So the idea is, so therefore we're talking about, now that we've framed how to go ahead and create a leap year, now we're framing ultimately again under what circumstances that can be done. So you can't do it from 1 year to the next. You can't do it 3 years in a row. Rabbi Shimon says, 1 second. We'll say amazing Maisa. Rabbi Akiva was incarcerated. V'iber shalosh shanim zu achar zu. And Rabbi Akiva was the Gadol Hadar. He went ahead and he declared a leap year 3 years in a row. So you see over here, you can't declare leap years 3 years in a row. Amru lo misham raya. They said to me, "You're gonna bring a raya from that case. Based in Yashuv akavu achas bismana." We'll say what he means is the following: Rabbi Akiva was an expert in leap years. So Rabbi Akiva calculated when the next 3 leap years were going to be. He gave that information to Beis Din. But it wasn't consecutive. Rabbi Akiva told him the next 3 leap years are going to be in 2 years, in 5 years, in 7 years. He gave that information to the Beis Din. Beis Din subsequently declared the leap year in its right time. Look at Rashi. Beis Din yashav v'kavalo achas v'achas bizmana v'lo ibru gimoshamer tzufos zu achar zu. It wasn't 3 consecutive leap years. Ela mipnei Rabbi Akiva chacham gadol hayo baki bibra shana v'omed liharek bo Beis Din v'yashvu imo v'ainu be'imor gimos shanim. Do you understand what Rashi just said? So again, the rabbis understood Rabbi Akiva was going to be executed by the Romans. Rabbi Akiva was the ranking expert in leap years. So we'll say, if you can imagine the scene, what Rabbi Akiva is incarcerated by the Romans, waiting for his brutal, horrific death. And the Chazal are sitting with him, although again, we know they weren't actually sitting with him. Remember, we saw this before. Rabbi Akiva was not allowed visitors in jail. Because remember, Rabbi Akiva was arrested ultimately, again, for the high crime of teaching Torah. He was not allowed visitors. All communication with Rabbi Akiva ultimately took place. He was allowed certain Talmidim at certain times, but in general was not allowed visitors. So however they communicated with him, before he dies, they're getting from him the information about how to go ahead and be Ma'aber Deshanim. So they get from him the next 3 years. Also, this is a tzaddik. Rabbi Akiva executed. And what is he occupying himself with? He's occupying himself with the needs of the klal. He's not occupying himself with his own needs, with his own personal, his own family's needs. He's occupying himself with the needs of Klal Yisrael. That's a tzaddik. We'll say tzaddik is someone who is so selflessly devoted to his people, so selflessly devoted to the klal, that even when there's such darkness in front of him, all he wants to do is give. Incredible Gemara. Both say you can't go ahead and make a leap year during Shemitah, which makes sense because again, both say you do not want to elongate the Shemitah year, and not on Matzei Shvius, because both say Matzei Shvius is going to run into the same issue, which is what if you push off Pesach, you elongate the Isser of Chadash. If you prolong the Isra of Chadash, it takes longer for people to get a food. So remember again, on Shana Shminis, already 8th year, it's a little bit more slim pickings because remember, you're coming off a Shemitah year. You do not want to prolong the Isra Chadash because that will put a strain on the food supply. So when was it normal for Chazal to make? So the Gemara says, Erev Shvius, Shabbos, Erev Shvius. So Erev Shvius, right? Erev Shemitah was often a good time to go ahead and make a leap year because I will say, in fact, everyone benefits from that additional month, an additional month for crops, an additional month to store things. We'll say the truth is, and the students of Rabbi Gamliel used to declare a leap year even on Matzei Shvius. So what's the machlokes? So we'll say, so here you have on one hand, the Rabbanan saying you should not make a leap year on Matzei Shvius. The Gamliel saying you can make a leap year on Matzei Shvius. What's the machlokes? The machlokes is the following: Beplukta dahani tanoi. Tisanya. Well, so it's actually an amazing machlokes. Ein mevian yarek mechutz la'aretz. V'rabosenu hitiru. So we'll say there's a machlokes. Are you permitted to import vegetables from chutz la'aretz to Eretz Yisrael? Now we'll say understand there's an incredible benefit to importing vegetables from chutz la'aretz, which is no trumas and maasros. So are you permitted to go ahead and import fruits and vegetables from, really it's not truth, it's not fruits, it's vegetables. So you'll see why in just a moment. You're permitted to go ahead and import vegetables from chutz la'aretz. So this machlokes. Rabbanan say no. Excuse me. The Tanakama says no. The Rabbanan say yes. My ben Ervo say what's the machlokes? Rabbi Yirmiyah choshishen lugushehen ika beinayu. Rabbi say here's the issue. The issue is that Chazal where goes there that the earth of chutz la'aretz is tamei. There's a rabbinic tumah on earth of literally earth of the dirt of chutz la'aretz. Well, so that's a bigger discussion that we've had before about an issue of potentially unmarked graves in chutz la'aretz. So therefore, again, the earth of chutz la'aretz is tamei midrabanan. So the issue is over here. We're concerned that if we allow the import of vegetables, so sometimes say if the vegetables are pulled out of the ground, there are clods of earth that come with them, and if those clods of earth come to Eretz Yisrael, it brings the rabbinic tumah with them. So there's a machlokes, ultimately, again, if you can import vegetables from Chutz La'aretz Eretz Yisrael, do you have to be choshish for the clouds of earth that would come along? So we'll say, so Rabbi Gamliel says, you could import vegetables. So because you can import vegetables, therefore what? We're okay with making matzeh shvius Iber year. We're okay with making it a leap year. Because even though you're adding in an additional month, you could import vegetables, there won't be a strain on the food chain. The Tanna Kama, on the other hand, holds you can't import vegetables, therefore you're putting a strain on the food chain if you make matzeh shvius a leap year, and therefore you can't make it a leap year. What's another interesting case? You can't go ahead and create a leap year because of tumah. Now, what's this case over here? Look at Rashi for just a moment. It's 4 lines up from the bottom. So listen to this. Let's say the nasi was dying. And what happens? They already established, meaning they're pretty sure he's going to die. So what happened? Erev Pesach. And I will say this is all happening in close proximity to Pesach. O yamim kodem biyutimeim o shahayo ruban tmeim besof adar the kol safar para then yecholim limso aksha para aduma in ma'abranakach eliyasu b'tuma. So what's written about the following situation? Let's say either the majority of the populace is tamei, going to become tamei. Now, if they are tamei, Rashi points out that it's a situation where there's not enough para aduma to go around, so they're still going to be tamei, or we know they're going to become tamei. The nasi is going to die. And I will say, when the nasi dies, everybody attends the levaya, and therefore, Pashas are going to become Tamei Mace. So we know already we're going to have a problem of Tumah when it comes to Pesach. So the Gemara nevertheless says that you don't go ahead and declare a leap year because of Tumah. So again, we'll say, we'll see why. There's a very simple answer to it. The simple answer is because we're going to say Tumah Hutra V'tzibor. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ma'abrin. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, we do make a leap year. I will say, meaning we push Pesach off. If at the end of the day we see that the majority of the population is indeed going to be tamei, and this would preclude them ultimately from offering the korban Pesach. So the Gemara says, Am Rabbi Yehuda, Masa b'Chizkiah HaMelech, Masa b'Chizkiah HaMelech Yehuda she'ibras Hashem ne'atuma. One time Chizkiah pushed off, made a leap year because of Tumah. Rashi says, is actually fascinating. Second to last line on the Daf and Rashi. Shenitmu b'mei achaz aviv me'avod zara. Shelo chasheshu l'Torah v'haya Chizkiah machzir l'mutav v'yada shlo yaspiku kulam lavo l'tara ad Pesach v'yiver Hashem. So we'll say Chizkiah was the son of Achaz. Achaz did some very bad stuff. The son Chizkiah tries to guard him with the people from the avodah zarah. We'll say the halach is that avodah zarah is mitame. Avodah zarah literally conveys a level of tumah upon the individual. Chizkiyahu is trying to mitahir the people, but he realizes that he will not be successful in being mitahir them prior to Pesach. So what does he decide to do? He decides to go ahead and create a leap year. So the Gemara says, Ubikesh racham alatzmo. And then he realized that he made a mistake. Rashi says, Over she'im cholo ha'avot. He realized he made a mistake by declaring a leap year because of Tumah D'chsiv. Kimar b'sa'am rabos me'Ephraim u'Menashi Yisachar Zvulun lo hitiro ki Amud Beis will say ki achlu es ha'Pesach below kakosov ki yispalach Chizkiyahu aleim leimor Hashem hatov yichaper ba'ad. So ultimately, again, you see that Chizkiyahu HaMelech decides to go ahead and make a leap year because Klal Yisrael is in a state of tumah as a result of the avodah zarah. And amazingly enough, you see that he feels that ultimately, again, he has committed an avera as a result of that, and asks for forgiveness from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So says the Gemara. Rabbi Shimon Omer. So we'll say, so just to understand over here, what we have now is a machlokes, right? A fundamental machlokes. Can't you go ahead and declare a leap year because of tumah? So just to be clear what we're talking about here. We're talking about a situation where Klal Yisrael is going to be, or some significant part of it, is going to be in a state of tumah at Pesach, which means they will not be able to offer up the korban Pesach. At least that's what it sounds like right now. Can you go ahead and declare a leap year, Pesach 1 month, giving the opportunity for Klal Yisrael to become tahor? So let's say we have a machlokes. Tanna Kama says, or the Rabbanan say, no, we don't declare a leap year because of Tumah. Rabbi Yehuda says, yes. We now have a Maisa of Chizkiyahu HaMelech who seemingly did this and then asked for forgiveness afterwards, which seems to indicate that Lemaisa, again, you're not supposed to go ahead and create a leap year because of Tumah. So Rabbi Shimon, so ultimately, again, Rabbi Shimon says, listen, you're not supposed to go ahead and create a leap year for purposes of Tumah, but if you did it, then it works. So if that's the case, if you're telling me that you shouldn't do it, but if you did it, it works, then why did Chizkiyahu have to ask forgiveness for himself? I will say here was Chizkiyahu's mistake. Chizkiyahu's mistake was the following: that let's agree that lechatchila you don't make an iber yar, you don't go ahead and create the leap year for the purposes of Tumah. But let's also agree that if you did it, then what? It works. So what was Chizkiyahu's mistake? Chizkiyahu's mistake was that he made the wrong leap month, meaning we only go ahead and add Adar, v'hu iber Nisan ben Nisan. But he declared a leap year when it was already in Nisan. That was his mistake. So Rabbi Shimon Yehuda said, Rabbi Shimon, no, Chizkiyahu made a different mistake. His mistake was, Rabbi Osai, is that he pushed the national observance of Pesach to Pesach Sheni. Essentially, what he said is, we're all Tmeim. Therefore, again, we're not going to observe Pesach Rishon, but instead this year, we'll all just observe Pesach Sheni. We'll say, what's the mistake in that? The mistake in that is Pesach Sheni is not for the Klal. Pesach Sheni is only for the Yachid. If the Klal is Tameh, the majority of the Klal is Tameh, as we'll discuss in just a little bit, they offer Pesach during Pesach Rishon. Pesach Sheni is only a makeup date for individuals, not for the nation. Chizkiyahu's mistake was that he made Pesach Sheni a makeup date for the entirety, for Gans Klal Yisrael. Amar Mar. Ma'abrin. So Yehuda says that we go ahead and we go ahead and we make a leap year for Tumah purposes. If we see that the Klal is Tameh, so we're able to go ahead and make a leap year in order to be able to allow them to offer up the Karban Pesach Bitara. Alma, Islay Rabbi Yehuda, Tumah Dechuyehu B'tzibor. So we'll say, now we're going to get into a fascinating machlokes. The machlokes is, do we say Tumah Hutra B'tzibor or Tumah Dechuya B'tzibor? Here's what we know. We know that if the majority of Klal Yisrael is Tameh, so then I will say essentially the laws of Tumah and Tara are suspended. So the question is, what's the nature of that suspension? That the laws of Tumah apply, except there's no punishment for violation. That means Dechuya, meaning we defer punishment. There's deferred punishment, or not even deferred punishment. We're exempted from punishment, meaning the prohibition is there, but there's no penalty. Or do we say Hutra? Hutra also means that if the majority of Klal Yisrael is Tameh, the laws of Tumah are just simply suspended. They're just simply suspended. It's as if they don't exist. So both like we're familiar with this same machlokes by Shabbos. If a person has a right or an obligation to go ahead and violate Shabbos for certain purposes, do we say that Shabbos is Hutra or Dechuya? Do we say that in that case it's as if it's Tuesday, it's not Shabbos, you can do whatever you need to do? Or no, it's Shabbos, except you're not going to be held liable for any kind of violation. And obviously there are major nafkaminas in that. So the Gemara says, the fact that Rabbi Yehuda says that you could declare a leap year, for Tumah purposes, indicates to us that according to Rabbi Yehuda, he holds that Tumah is Dechuya B'tzibor. Because I will say, if it was Hutra, then what? Then just observe Pesach when it is. Obviously, if it's Dechuya, if you could avoid offering up the Karban Pesach in a state of Tumah, you want to try to do that. That's why he tells you that you can go ahead and declare a leap year for the purposes of Tumah. So is that true that Rabbi Yehuda holds that Tumah Dechuya? V'had Tanya, we learned tzitz. I will say that tzitz is the plate that used to go on the forehead of the Kohen Gadol, right? That he would wear that said Kodesh LaHashem. So the Gemara says tzitz. Now the tzitz itself has the ability. We'll say whether the Kohen is wearing the tzitz, not wearing the tzitz, it has the ability to go ahead and. If you look at Rashi says over here, Rashi says, tzitz, I'm sorry, actually before, tzitz meratz al tumas vachim la los ratzah. So we'll say, what the tzitz does is the following. If a carbon was inadvertently offered up in a state of tumah, the tzitz has the ability to atone for that carbon. The Gemara is now saying over here, whether the Kohen is wearing the tzitz, whether the Kohen is wearing the tzitz, not wearing the tzitz is able to affect atonement. This is Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Odu ametz chomeratza. If the Kohen Gadol is wearing the tzitz, then it has the ability to affect atonement in Odu ametz chomeratza. But if he's not wearing it, it can't affect atonement. Amr Rabbi Shimon, Kohen Gadol Yom Kippurim yochiach. So Rabbi Shimon says to me, that's not true. I'll give you the proof. Yom Kippur. Rabbi said, does the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur wear the tzitz? And the answer is no. Why not? Because the tzitz is made of gold, and the Kohen Gadol, again, when he goes into the Kodesh HaKodashim, does not wear gold. So the Gemara says, so you see from here, and yet still we know that the tzitz is effective even on Yom Kippur. So you see from both sides, it's not the wearing of the tzitz that affects kapara, but rather what? It's the existence of the tzitz that affects kapara. So the Gemara says, Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda, Hanach Yom Kippurim. Rabbi Yehuda says, forget about Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a different entity. Why? Shetuma Hutra B'tzibor. I will say Yom Kippur is fundamentally different because on Yom Kippur, even in the event that Lamaisa, one of the karbanos that was offered up for some reason, was tamei, so ultimately again on Yom Kippur we say that the laws of Tumah are suspended the laws of Tumah are non-existent, so to speak. So we will say, what do you see from here? We have a contradiction. We just got finished saying that Rabbi Yehuda holds Tumah D'chuya. That's why Rabbi Yehuda will allow you to go ahead and make a leap year for Tumah purposes. Now we just have Rabbi Yehuda on record as saying, is that what? Tumah Hutra B'tzibur. So which one is it? Or the Ta'amech. So you might say, 1 second, if you're going to ask questions, so take Shilach Ahi Gufa, so ask from this. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ma'abrin. So Rabbi Yehuda says that you could go ahead and what? You can go ahead and make a leap year for Tumah purposes. But Rabbi Yehuda, Ma'aseh B'chizkiah Melech Yehuda, Shivar Hashem Ne'atumah, Ubikesh Rachem Malatzmo. Yet Rabbi Yehuda quotes the Ma'aseh B'chizkiah. Now, both say the Ma'aseh Chizkiah is Chizkiah HaMelech making a leap year for what purpose? Both say for what purpose? For Tumah. And yet what? He asks for divine forgiveness. So Rabbi Yehuda, who says that you can make a leap year for Tumah purposes, then quotes the story of Chizkiah HaMelech, someone who made a leap year for Tumah purposes. Yet Chizkiah HaMelech felt he did something wrong, and that's why he asks forgiveness from God. So what's going on over here? What's going on over here? Rather, again, the Gemara says there's part missing from the story, and here's how you have to understand. Now, look, I will say is that we do not declare a leap year because of Tumah. In other words, we will not declare a leap year and an additional month to give people the opportunity to purify themselves in order to be able to offer the current Pesach. But if the Beis Din did it, leap year for Tumah purposes, so ultimately on both sides, then the Iber Yar, the leap year works. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Eina Mu'beres. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it does not work. But Rabbi Yehuda, and I will say, where does Rabbi Yehuda get that from? He gets it ultimately again from the Ma'aseh of Chizkiah HaMelech. Chizkiah HaMelech made a leap year because of Tumah and ultimately asks forgiveness as a result. Ihachi, if that's the case, Rabbi Shimon says, Ihachi, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Ihachi, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Im mipnei haTumah ibrua mi'uberes, hayu tanakama. Well, a second says the Gemara, if that's the case, then Rabbi Shimon and the Tanakama are effectively saying the same thing. Both are saying that we don't declare a new month for Tumah, but if you did it, it works. To which the Gemara says, Amarava, lechatchila ikebenai. Rabbi said the fundamental machlokes between them is, do we say lechatchila, you're permitted to do this or not? Look at Rashi. Lechatchila ikebenayu. The Tanakama ka'amar ein ma'abin lechatchila. The Tanakama says, will say that you cannot go ahead and declare a leap year. Lechatchila because of Tumah. Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Shimon says, no, you can even do a lechatchila for Tumah. The ID to come Rabbi Yehuda in Mu'beres, Amar Ilu Mu'beres within lechatchila. Fine. Time now, we have a price that supports this. Ein ma'abrin es hasharim b'pnei haTumah lechatchila. You cannot go ahead of Osai and lechatchila declare a leap year because of Tumah. Rabbi Shimon Omer ma'abrin. Rabbi Shimon says you can. So we'll say, so you see this price that crystallizes it. Then we'll say, so since we have a 3 machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda is saying you cannot go ahead and create a leap year for Tumah purposes. That's Shita number 1. Shita number 2 is Rabbi Shimon saying, is the Rabbanan saying that lechatchila you can't declare a leap year because of Tumah, and Rabbi Shimon saying even lechatchila you could declare a leap year because of Tumah. 3 machlokes. So the Gemara says, so we'll say, so again, it seems to be that Chizkiah didn't do something so terrible. In other words, there seems to be opinions who support the ability to make a leap year because of Tumah. If that's the case, then what was Chizkiah HaMelech apologizing for? So the Gemara says, She'ein ma'abrin ela adar v'hu iber nisan ben nisan. Because the halach is also you can only go ahead and declare a leap year during Adar, and ultimately what happened? And so Chizkiah went ahead and declared it in Nisan, as you said before. Amar Mar, She'ein ma'abrin ela adar v'hu iber nisan ben nisan. Ultimately, again, you're only allowed to declare a new month in Adar, and meanwhile, Chizkiyahu HaMelech went ahead and declared the leap year in Nisan. But lastly, the Chizkiyahu Chodesh Hazeh Lachem, the Gemara says, Zeh Nisan, ve'ein acher Nisan. But the Chizkiyahu HaMelech ultimately, again, not know the drasha. HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, this month is for you. This is Nisan, and there can't be a second Nisan, which Rabbi means that there's only one Nisan on the calendar. Tabed Shmuel. Chizkiyahu HaMelech made a mistake, Rabbi say, and he made a mistake with the sheet of Shmuel. Because what did Shmuel say? Dem Shmuel, Im ma'avrin es hashana b'yom shloshim shel Adar, ho'il v'roi l'kavo Nisan. What's actually interesting halacha? You cannot declare a leap year 30th day of Adar. Why, Rabbi say? Because the 30th day of Adar technically could be Rosh Chodesh. Could be Rosh Chodesh. So because it could be Rosh Chodesh, you can't. It could be Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So because of that, you can't declare the new month on. You can't declare the new month on Nisan. Excuse me, on the 30th of Adar. You can't go ahead and declare the leap year. V'iyu savar ho'il v'roi lo aminon. Chizkiyahu made a mistake. He didn't know of this drasha, and therefore he ends up declaring the leap year on the 30th day of Adar, which technically speaking could be Rosh Chodesh Nisan. We have rights that supports this. We don't go ahead and declare a leap year on the 30th of Adar. Because we'll say ultimately, again, this could be, since this potentially could be Rosh Chodesh Nisan, therefore we will not go ahead and month here. We'll say we'll stop over here for today. I'm going to share with you a vart on the parasha. We'll Amir Hashem we'll do a little bit of a longer daf tomorrow. I'll just share with you a short thought. So you know, if we have the great zechus this Shabbos to begin Chumash Devarim, and much of Chumash Devarim, although there are many mitzvahs in Chumash Devarim as well, but the real incredible profundity of Chumash Devarim is the entire review of the events surrounding Klal Yisrael from the inception of our peoplehood right up until we're getting ready to go into Eretz Yisrael. And the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu does this is because, remember, Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to a brand new generation. Remember, this is at the end of the 40 years, which means the people, the generation of the desert, have effectively died out already. And now Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to a brand new generation. This generation is going to go into the land. This is a generation that's ultimately going to forge the identity of Klal Yisrael. And so he gives them a little bit of or not a little bit, but a lot of a history as to what's happened, what's transpired to bring us to this point. So Moshe said the pasuk in the beginning, it's already in the beginning of Chumash Devarim, says the following. Pasuk says, Be'evar Hayardin, this is in Parak Aleph, Pasuk Hey. Be'evar Hayardin be'eretz Moav, Hoil Moshe be'eretz HaTorah Hazos Lemor. So Be'evar Hayardin, in the Transjordanian areas, in the land of Moab, Moshe Rabbeinu began to explain the Torah, saying, Torah Hazos Lemor. So Rashi HaKadosh has a fascinating statement. Rashi says, Be'eretz HaTorah, B'shivim Lashon Per Shalahem. Moshe Rabbeinu translated or explained to them the Torah in 70 languages. And the Mefarshim all ask one simple question, which is, why? Why does Klal Yisrael? Right? Why is a bothersome question? Why is Moshe Rabbeinu 70 languages? 70 languages. What's the pshat? Why doesn't Moshe Rabbeinu have to teach Klal Yisrael ultimately the Torah in 70 different languages? You know, again, of course, it goes without saying they learned it in Yiddish, right? That goes without saying, of course, right? But there's Lashon HaKodesh, whatever the other vernaculars are, but 70 languages. Why was it necessary? So there are many answers to this, but I want to share with you really what I think is a magnificent insight by Rabbi Levi Yitzchak. So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Kedushas Levi brings down a magnificent yisod. He says, in order to answer this, he makes an interesting observation. He says, he says there are times in the Torah where the Torah uses non-Hebraic words. So for example, the first time we see this is when Yaakov and Lavan have their falling out, right? Yaakov runs away, Lavan runs after him, they make a treaty. The treaty is a very simple treaty. They make a pile of stones, which essentially becomes a line of demarcation, right? A no-go zone. You stay until here, I'll stay here. They pile the stones. Yaakov Avinu comes up with a very creative name, Galed, right? Galed. Gal is a pile, Aid is a testimony. This pile of stones is a testimony that essentially we agree that we're going to keep our distance. And the Torah says, you love uncalled it. You got Sadusa. So you got Sadusa is Aramaic. So again, ask the Rebbe, why do I need to know that information? Why does the Torah have to include non-Hebraic origin words? But the truth is, there's even bigger shilas. Well, so we actually told me last week. Tefillin, right? So again, the Torah tells us that the word the Torah uses for tefillin is totafos. Rashi HaKadosh already says that there is no Hebraic etymology for that word. Totafos is not a Hebrew word. Similarly, again, Rashi quotes our Gemara in Sanhedrin that tat bekafsi, pat ba'afriki, that there's actually a contraction of two words from two different languages, two different dialects, that each of them mean two. So you put tat and kaf together, totapos, and you get four, which teaches us that tefillin requires 4 sections, 4 parashos. And again, says, I don't understand. There are different Hebraic ways that you could teach me that. Why, Ribono Shel Olam, are you going ahead and using non-Hebraic words to convey important histodas? And the Rebbe says something absolutely amazing. That the Ribono Shel Olam is teaching us that Torah has a kiyum. Torah has the ability to stand in every land, in every place, amongst every single nation. That lest you think that Torah is tethered to Eretz Yisrael. We love Eretz Yisrael very much, right? It's not just Libi b'Mizrach, but as Rabbi Nachman said, "L'chol makom she'ani holech, ani holech le'Eretz Yisrael." Every step I take, even if it's not east, in my heart, every step I take is always towards Eretz Yisrael. But at the end of the day, Torah is not tethered to Eretz Yisrael. The Jew has the ability to be a spiritual being wherever he is. No matter what's happening in life, no matter where I am, no matter what my circumstances are, Torah, I have the ability to actualize my Torah identity. I have the ability to actualize my spirituality. I have the ability ultimately to become close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no matter what the circumstances are. Therefore, says the Rebbe, the Ribono Shel Olam purposely goes out of his way and kind of sprinkles non-Hebraic words throughout the Torah in order to tell us, there are going to be times where you're not going to be in Eretz Yisrael. There are going to be times, ultimately, again, where you're going to find yourself in all kinds of situations. But just know, no matter what's happening, if you want the relationship with me, it's yours. No matter what's happening, if you want to grow as a Jew, you can. No matter what's happening, if you want to actualize your well springs of growth, that ability is always within reach. And says the Rebbe, amazingly enough, that's what's happening right over here, steps away from Eretz Yisrael. Be'eva hayarden, be'eretz Moav. Klal Yisrael step away from Eretz Yisrael. What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? Hoil Moshe be'eretz haTorah. What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? 70 languages. Rabbi said, can you imagine that drasha? After 15 minutes, right? Can you imagine that drasha? 70 languages Moshe Rabbeinu was translating the Torah into. Why? Because he's telling Klal Yisrael, I'm going to go through every single language known to man so that you know, no matter where you end up in life, because Moshe Rabbeinu was already fortunate. Remember, we always read Parshas Devarim. Parshas Devarim is always Shabbos Chazon. Is always the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, because Moshe Rabbeinu, right before we enter in, is telling us, you're not going to be here forever. You're going to go to all corners of the world, but I just want you to know, I'm going to tell you this Torah in every dialect known to man, to teach you that wherever you are, you can have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi said the profundity of the Rebbe's words is not just in terms of geography. You know, sometimes Rabbi say, Yisrael, but your neshama is in Galus. Just like sometimes your guf could be in the Beis Medrash, but your neshama is somewhere else. Rabbi said, the yesod that the Rebbe is teaching us is, there is no obstacle to actualization of our spirituality. There is no obstacle, ultimately, again, to our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Each of us has such capacity for holiness. Each of us has such capacity for growth. Each of us has such capacity for spiritual greatness. And to be honest, because we're amongst Chaverim, uses. If you know what you need to do in life, you have to get it done. But I'm in this galus, I'm in that galus, I have this challenge, I have that challenge. Moshe Rabbeinu translated the Torah into 70 languages to tell us that wherever you are, geographically or emotionally, if you want spiritual greatness, it's within grasp. If you want spiritual greatness, it's yours for the taking. Wherever we are in life, whatever happens to us in life, the one constant Rabbi say we always have is our ability to forge a meaningful connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we hope that Amir Hashem, Halavai, this will be our last Shabbos Chazon. And you know, it's a long Erev Shabbos. It's a long Erev Shabbos. So much could happen today. And I don't just mean at your office. I mean, so much could happen today for Klal Yisrael. The Yarnavi could come. Mashiach could come. Shabbos Chazon could still be a simcha-filled Shabbos, and Tisha B'Av could become a yom of simcha and mishta. It could still happen. But even if it doesn't, we have incredible staying power. Even if it doesn't, because at the end of the day, one thing that Moshe Rabbeinu gives us is the ultimate nechama. That wherever we are in life, whatever our circumstances are, there are many things we can't control, many things we can't change. But our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always at our fingertips. Spiritual greatness is always at our fingertips. The Torah is in 70 languages because it's accessible to us. The Ribono Shel Olam is accessible to us no matter where we are. Like, may we be Zochem Yirtzeh Hashem to take advantage of that matana, and in the zechus of ultimately learning and actualizing the Torah in all 70 languages. May we be Zochem Yirtzeh Hashem, like our ancestors, to once again stand be'Iver HaYarden and Amir Hashem be Zochet to take those steps into Eretz Yisrael.